Welcome, guys, to the very first fucking episode of Getting Real with Matt and Anthony. This is going to be an interesting podcast series because if dipshit will turn off his fucking phone.
Here we go.
We're starting it off
this
already.
This is how we operate.
This is going to be an interesting podcast series because this is all going to be about real, raw, and the truth, right? Life. Everything in life. Anthony is in real estate as well, so he understands the industry. He comes from the contractor, builder side of things. He's also a good friend of mine, so what better than to put two brutally honest people together in a podcast series to chat and talk. So welcome, man.
What's going on?
Nothing. This is going to be fun.
I'm excited.
Yeah?
I think the world is lacking people like us lately.
I think it's going to trigger a lot of people.
Yeah, well, we're good at that.
Yeah, we're real good at that. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. We've been talking about it a lot lately, but there's so many people out there, and social media has done this, obviously, but there's so many people out there that are just like presenting themselves, fronting themselves as something that they're actually not. And I think that drives you and me up a wall a ton.
I agree.
Probably more so than it should, but it's frustrating or it's irritating to see.
It's comical.
It is comical.
And you're more into the social media aspects of things than I am.
Yeah.
With your business versus my business, but
yep.
We still see it.
You see it when we walk out the front door. Yeah.
You know, and I just think it's a younger generation just making shitty decisions in life because they see the fame and they see the glory at the end of the day, but they don't see how long it takes to get there.
Right. So you're 100% right. And that's what I call like the social media effect, right? We've talked about this before where people, you have this younger generation, right? The Gen Z that see successful, and I put that in quotes because a lot of what you see on Instagram isn't reality, right? Or social media isn't reality. But you see a lot of these people and what they drive and the houses they live in and the clothes that they wear and the private jets that they fly on. And they think that they should have that right now. Right? It's that instant gratification thing. And so I think what they do is they get in their head that, well, they need to represent themselves as already having that at 18, 19, 20, 21 years old.
Well, you also have to take into consideration, they get caught up in these people that have these businesses that promote them to, they see that the things that these people have, and then they go to work for them. So once they make a little bit of money doing with whatever that businesses that these people get them to work for, they buy a car,
right?
Or
they take
a watch, or you know, whatever it may be, and it's just that's the example that they're following.
Right.
Now, at the end of the day, the people that own these other companies, they obviously started from the bottom, and
right.
But
a lot of them,
they're pumping that into this younger generation. It's like, hey,
they're feeding it into them, almost making them,
you know,
it's like, it almost seems, and I know we're talking about one specific company around here. I know what you're referring to. We're not going to call names out, but
but it's just, I mean, they're all over.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said,
it's like these business owners push these kids, and I call them kids because they're kids. They push these kids to do this. So they're setting, to me, they're leading them in a way that they shouldn't be led. It's not good leadership. It's not good. It's not being a good mentor. Because if you were being a good mentor to any of these people as a business owner, you should be teaching these kids and these younger individuals that they should be putting that money aside, setting it aside to be able to invest into assets that are going to generate them income every day, every week, every month. And then you use that income to go buy these toys once you have a big enough net worth established to be able to do that. But instead, they're taking the little bit of money they make from a commission check and they go out and they finance these fucking, $150,000 vehicles, for 84 fucking months, 144 months sometimes. And then they have nothing in the bank or very little in the bank. They have nothing set aside for investing. They don't have any investments. They don't have any savings. And they're making these ridiculous car payments.
I think that you need to have a balance in that because I agree, like life is short and you don't know when your time is up. So to save up your whole life to finally buy that car that you want at 70 years old, is going to serve you no fucking purpose.
I agree.
But I also think like you need to start somewhere and then just kind of gradually raise it up. But the other thing is like
You need to be smart about
these industries, just anything like
it promotes it.
is so far gone from our generation. Like this stuff didn't exist,
No.
20 years ago when we were in our 20s. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like we didn't this wasn't my focus in my 20s. Like I just think, and it's like making these kids just act foolish, and you're missing out on growing up.
Right.
Like you're
Well, they don't
25 and
grow up.
you're trying to, I think it's good that they're out there grinding and they are hustling. There's no doubt about that.
Sure.
So that I give some of these people, but like at the same time, it's like you're just fast forwarding your whole life to try and have some things.
Have an image.
Yeah, exactly.
I think a lot of it comes down to they want to have this image, right? But yet they're still living at home with mommy and daddy, or they're living in an apartment with 3 of their buddies because they don't have enough money to go out and buy their own house or put some money into investment. It's an image that I think, again, it goes back to social media, that social media portrays and pushes upon these people.
I just think social media has ruined the world.
I think social media, honestly, is the downfall of society.
I agree. That's why I don't really partake in any of that stuff. I don't have Facebook. I don't do any of that shit. Like, I just think like, if that is what you're spending your time focusing on during the day, you're not building anything else. If you're sitting on there looking at all the shit that everybody else has and you're angry and you're commenting and you're doing all this shit, get off your fucking ass and go do something.
Right.
Start a business, get a fucking job. Don't hate on other people's success. That's not going to get you anywhere in life.
Right.
And I hate when I want everybody to do good. And then these people are on there, oh, you bought this model car, you bought that model car, you didn't do this. You didn't, like, well, I mean, that's what makes
that's jealousy. I mean, that's just hate.
But I feel like that's all you get from social media.
Social media has created this whole group of keyboard warriors, right? They act tough behind a keyboard, but they would never say it to your face. Ever. Right?
We didn't grow up like that.
We grew up, we had a problem. I come to you, I dress you in your face, and we probably throw a few fists.
And that's it.
And then
everyone's good
and
the next day.
And we're done. That's it.
No,
you can't do that anymore because you hurt everyone's fucking feelings.
This is going to parlay us into a whole nother subject of like mental health from now and when we grew up.
Right.
And I was just having this conversation with someone yesterday, and it was like, when we had a problem back in the day, we settled it just like you said.
Right.
Did you ever wake up one day and think like, I fucking hate everybody, I'm going to go to school with a gun and shoot everybody?
Wow, that's...
No.
Right. We didn't see that when we were growing up. No.
Never. No. We didn't see that how literally fucked up the society is. Like when you and I went to school, the doors weren't locked in the school. Right. The windows were open. There was not police presence 24/7 at the school.
Not at all.
There was none of that shit.
Nope.
Because we weren't at the place we were at. Like,
yeah, I agree. 100%. Mental health is an epidemic in this country.
Here's another question
that is in serious need of major addressing, major overhaul of the whole mental health system.
But it worked. It worked when we were young because there was facilities for people to go to. Those facilities are since gone, and now everyone just gets a prescription and sent home.
100% agree. And it's like but that's the medical. That's the medical system in general. I mean, look at COVID, right? As soon as they come out with the vaccine was never tested, never went through trials, first of its kind mRNA, and people lined up like fucking sheep to get shot up with it. They had no idea what they were putting in their body.
That's a whole nother topic.
But that's the medical industry in general, and people just blindly fall for it. But how much of the mental health system do you think also starts with the parents?
No, I agree. Listen, the disconnect from the generation of our parents to like 10 years below us, the kids in their I don't understand where we lost it.
Right.
Did you ever hear your mother one time fucking complain about anxiety when we were growing up?
No.
My mom worked.
Yeah.
took care of me and my sister.
I'm sure they had it, but they didn't use it as a crutch or something.
But even if they did, they didn't say I have this feeling.
Right.
I can't get out of bed. I can't take you to soccer practice today, Anthony, because I'm something's wrong.
Right. I think that's just, again, we have bred a society, a generation of weak people.
It's sad, but I agree. Like,
well, what's the fix? How do we fix it?
Well, you can't. I mean, there is no.
Can we just go back to like knocking people out when it's needed?
Well, these kids don't get their ass beat like we did.
I agree, 100%. I firmly believe we need to go back to the days of a good ass whooping.
I agree. You don't need abused, but you need to catch an ass whooping
from time to time.
Sitting in timeout or losing your phone or for a day or what? It's not gonna change anything. No. If your mom or dad was gonna pop you in your mouth when you did something, then you were like,
right,
or even
at least smack you on your ass.
Listen,
yeah,
even misbehaving as a child, like in your teens, I was not worried about getting in trouble with like the police or getting arrested.
Right.
I was worried about going home and facing my parents.
Right.
Nowadays, these kids are like, there's no repercussions for anything they do.
But there isn't either. That's the problem. What are the repercussions anymore?
There are none.
Parents
I don't have children. You do. I mean, so that's. I mean, do you?
I firmly believe in spanking. My ex-wife firmly believes in spanking. We're on the same page with that. I mean, we're not going to beat our kids by any means, but
no.
You know, your kid. You know, my son's 10 years old. You know, if he gets out of line, he's going to get his ass whooped.
I agree.
You know,
just like we did.
Don't turn me into CYS, guys. Just it's called parenting. I know it doesn't happen a lot anymore, but no,
the parents are in their own world.
Well, they are 100%. You know,
Our
and most of the time,
hands-on.
Most of the time, a lot of these parents are at each other's throats to begin with. So the kids are like the are kind of thrown
because no one wants to be the villain.
Right.
No, I get it. I mean, it's degenerate. I'm like worried about like no one wants to work.
Well, no, but that was no one wanted to work. People were lazy. They had entitlement issues. They expected instant gratification. But the problem is that was that was made worse during COVID. I mean, when they shut everything down and they just started handing checks out to people and people could collect unemployment for 2 fucking years sitting at home. I mean, you run a business, I run a business, trying to hire people anymore, it's like next to fucking impossible.
It is impossible. And no one wants to do like being in the construction field. I mean, like there's not many people that want to get up and grind every day. There's not many people that want to be doing manual labor and like our side of things, you know, obviously is like high end stuff. So like it's dying.
Trades in general.
Wants to be a skilled finish carpenter. Nobody wants to, plumbers, electricians, like tile setters. Like it's impossible. And dude, you have to pay people through the roof, and then people don't understand why the bill is so much. Well, there's nothing that you can do. Like you can make $20 an hour with benefits and a 401k at Sheets. In an air-conditioned and heated building making fucking MTOs. Would you like bacon on that, sir?
Right.
Or do you want to come outside and frame a house in the middle of fucking February and freeze your ass off for the same amount of money?
Right. No, I hear you.
I don't blame them. I didn't have that option.
Right. Well, it's crazy because you're in construction and building, so you have to deal with the manual labor side of things. But even on our side of things, like I got to the point where I stopped scheduling in-person interviews when we're trying to hire, because I would block off a period of time and people would just never show up in person. So I'm like, okay, fine, we'll start with a Zoom interview, right? People just don't even show up for their Zoom interviews. And all you got to do is put on a shirt, do your hair, turn on your computer. But they just don't show up still for a Zoom interview that they scheduled. And there's not even enough respect to send a quick little email. Hey, I need to reschedule, or hey, I'm not going to make it, or hey, I got another job, or whatever it is. They just don't show up.
And those are the people that are hating on the people that
actually bust their ass and build something.
And have things.
100%. I mean, and then you have some employees I mean, let's talk about the one of my old employees who was so weak and so soft that when she screwed up and I wouldn't even yell at her. I would tell her what she did wrong. She was so soft, she would start crying and like become a victim. And it's like, this isn't emotional. This is work. If you fuck up, you learn from your fuck up. You don't do it again and you move on. I've never once yelled or screamed at anyone. And then she files unemployment after she quit, no less. She quit because it was a verbally abusive environment, she says. And then she files unemployment citing verbal abuse in the workplace. Every other one of my employees that works for me looked at me like, are you serious? Like, verbal abuse?
They didn't grow up when we did.
Right. And then her dad tries to message me through social media acting like the big tough guy. I'm like, wait a minute. You're a fucking adult. And then you have to have your dad try to come to your savior? Like, no wonder. He raised a weak person. He's weak too because he can't even show up at the office if he's got something to say. It just goes back to the whole thing. Like, if you get a thick fucking skin. This is the real world.
I think the days of thick skin are over. I mean, there's far and few between anymore. And it's
Rob, do you have a thick skin back there behind the cameras?
No, I try.
You try?
I'm trying to be a real snowflake.
Good. Okay, so we're not good.
No
Rob's not a
snowflake.
snowflake.
No
That's
snowflakes.
good to know. It's just
Thank you for knowing.
yes, you're welcome.
I think it just goes back on how we were brought up too. It's like I run my business like how when I worked in the construction field when I was young, like I got yelled at, I got screamed at.
Yeah.
I got, what the fuck are you doing? Or, you're an idiot. Like, I mean, the first guy I ever worked for, he had a big roofing company back in the day. And he was like, he grabbed me one time and just held me out over the roof and was like, you're not scared anymore. Let's go. And I looked at him, I'm like, I'm not scared, but just don't drop me because I'm going to die. Like, after that point, I was just like, but he yelled and like,
Right.
but shit got done.
Right.
And like, I'm not yelling. You don't yell to belittle people. You just yell. I yell because at the end of the day, it's my dollar.
Well,
people don't care.
That's
and
exactly what I was going to say. Like, if I yell, it's because it's costing me money in the end. And not that all employees act this way.
No, they don't.
And there's really good employees out there, and I have a lot that work for me too. But you have some of these people that like they're so soft and they're so weak, but they also can't wrap their head around the fact that the reason I'm upset is because you're making stupid mistakes that you shouldn't be making that ends up costing me money in the long run, which ultimately affects my ability to pay employees.
Listen, they don't look at it like that.
No, they don't.
They get their check every 2 weeks,
Right.
And that's all that matters.
Right.
They come in at 8, 9, they put their 8 hours in,
Yeah.
and they go home.
Yeah.
The stress stops for them at that point.
Right.
Then they have to deal with, whatever stresses they have at home.
Right.
And then
Yeah,
that's the other issue, though, is employees bring their home stress to work.
Yeah.
And then that trickles down on everybody else.
Because they don't know, again, because a lot of people, again, not all, but a lot of people can't separate
Work
from home, right? They feel like they have to bring their home life into work. And I'm like, the moment you walk through those doors, that shit stays the fuck home. I don't, look, I care about you as a human being. I'll you know this. I will go to the ends of the earth to help people out. I'll give you money. I'll be there to give you a helping hand, whatever it is. But leave your fucking drama at home.
Do you know one of the most truest statements from my childhood? And, older people would always say, that one bad apple will ruin the bunch.
Fuck yeah.
I just used to laugh at that because I didn't know any better. It made no fucking sense. Like,
Right,
we're talking about rotten apple. Like,
right.
Until I've owned a business for so long and I've had so many employees and I've witnessed it. I've witnessed one person
Completely just
demolish
implode.
everybody because they bring their bullshit
Yep.
from home
Yep.
to the workplace.
Yep.
And it just ruined everybody's attitude.
Yeah. Well, and then those two, I've had a couple here. Now they're gone. They don't work here anymore. But they were like this team. They would like feed off of each other, right? And
Try and
one
ruin
toxic
everyone's
person
shit.
was another toxic with another toxic person, just trying to stir shit up and cause problems and turn everyone against people, and they cause this. It's toxic as shit, and that toxicity breeds really fucking quick.
Just goes.
And so you have to get it out of you.
Get
And
that-
everything,
that bad
whether it's
apple.
business, whether it's personal life, whether it's your friend circle, whatever it is, you have to cut that shit out, because no one should have to deal with that. No one, honestly, we don't have time for it, because it's just, it breeds. It festers,
It just goes.
right? And it just grows.
And it's
It's like negativity grows so much quicker and faster and bigger than positivity does. It's weird, right?
I just think negativity is the worst thing. And you and I have this discussion all the time. Like, I cannot be around negative people.
No. Yeah.
I don't.
Cut them the fuck out.
Like, everybody has their issues. I don't care whether you have all the money in the world or no money.
Right.
Everybody has issues.
Right.
Everyone's fighting something at some point. Like,
Right.
but everyone doesn't need to know about it.
Right.
Like, you just need to put your head down and go, but
Right.
be positive along the way. When these people are negative and they just drag it out, I just can't be. You
I
can't
just
surround yourself with that, because
I
it's just going to bring. It just brings everybody down.
I remove myself from that. Anytime it pops up, I remove myself from it. I won't be surrounded by people like that.
I mean, both of our circles are extremely small anyway, so it's like,
Yeah.
at this point in our life, like,
Yeah.
you know who you want to be around and who you don't want to be around, and
Right.
I just feel like, you're a product of your environment,
Amen.
and like, I would always pick the brains of guys that were around me that were related to me or not related to me, but that are extremely successful, and like, people don't understand that. You need to ask those important questions, not how much was your car, or how much was your
Right.
watch, or, well,
Yeah.
how did you get that? It's like, what did you do?
You're talking about.
What did you do in life?
Yeah.
And that's what I like to get to this point. Like, because
Right.
that's what I need to figure out. I don't need to know, and some people, listen, some people were born with it. You know what I mean? Some people
Yeah.
came from wealth and they don't understand the difference between grinding it out and not
Right.
grinding
And
it out.
building it. Yeah.
You and I did not come from that. So it's, it's different. So
Yeah.
that's probably why it kind of hits a nerve with us when we see people that are just totally going the wrong way. And I'm just like, you're missing the whole point of what
Yeah.
what people are trying to help you. You see the end result, but you don't see
What we went
everyone
through to
got there.
get
You're right.
there.
Everyone
Yeah,
sees
yeah.
the cars and all the
Right.
other shit, and they don't see the sleepless nights or the chasing of money or
The divorces,
And
or
just-
the bankruptcies previously, the wondering how you're going to make payroll, wondering how you're going to pay your mortgage, wondering how you're going to put food on the table for your kids or for your wife, or they don't see any of that. They see the end result and they think that, oh, I have to have that now myself.
it doesn't work like
No,
that.
it doesn't. It's a look. This is what I say to people. My overnight success took me 20 years, a divorce, a bankruptcy, a broken back, and God knows what other stuff.
Yeah,
right?
we're still going.
And we're still going. Right. And that's what I tell people. Like I didn't wake up one day and here I am. Like there is no such thing as that. And I think that's the problem that this younger generation has, is they, for some reason, again, back to social media effect, I think some reason they think that's how it works. It just ultimately lands in your lap at some point.
I think social media is the root of all evil. I think technology in itself
Yeah.
was a blessing, and it's a blessing and a
And
curse.
a curse, 100%. I mean, it's a blessing because we can sit here and we can have this podcast and we can put this series on, we can post it to the internet, and people can laugh and nod along that they agree, they can hate on us for it, and either way, I don't give a shit, because bottom line, unless you're feeding me, financing me, or fucking me, your opinion of me is none of my business. And I know you think the same
I
way.
agree.
And that's the good part of technology. But the bad part of technology is all the other toxicity that it brings to life. And the fact that people have their faces buried in their phones 24/7. The fact that they act like these keyboard warriors behind a screen, and would never have the balls or the guts to actually come and say it to you in person. I'm different. Everything I'll say to you online, I'll say to you in person. You know this, and you're the same way.
I just say it. That's the problem.
And if you get butthurt over it, then you get butthurt over it. If you want to throw down, look, I'm 43 years old, but look, I'm in really good shape. I will fucking throw down.
I just think it's ruined. I think it's ruined growing up as a child.
Yeah.
And as just being a kid.
Well, and it's taken away the process of living and enjoying life.
It's just, people don't interact. And
right.
I feel like our communication skills are so good because we had to go out and meet people and talk and go out. And like,
we had the door knock. We had to pick up the phone. We had to go network.
Hey, meet you out back. Like, okay. So then you got one of your friends and you rode your bikes to your other two friends' house and you were all outside.
Right.
Now they're probably on a group message and they don't leave their room.
Right. No, that's 100. I fight with my kids all the time. Now my kids do go outside a lot and they play outside, but there's still a lot of times where they're buried in their phones. It's group messages, it's group FaceTime.
Or just watching videos.
Dude, just go outside and walk 3 houses down.
Dude, it was never in the house.
No, my curfew was when the sun went down.
Yeah. Or
when the light post went on.
My dad would whistle.
Yeah.
And I knew I had to get my ass home or I was going to catch one. Like, I never wanted to be in the house. Like,
but that also brings up another point. It's like, I don't, with as fucked up as the world is nowadays, I don't want my kids out by themselves that long either.
No, I agree.
As a parent, I don't trust society nowadays. I don't trust people.
You can't. Dude, the world is, mental, like, that's what I was just saying. Like, the schools were open. Everything was different. Yep. Now, people are going to the movie theaters, unloading on, shooting on people. People are going to concerts.
Right.
And shooting people. Like, what? Where did we fucking lose it?
Right.
What did these innocent people do to you?
Right.
If you're mad at one particular person in your life,
you go take it up with them.
You take it up with them.
Right.
You don't go out and take an innocent
haul
life
off on people
because you're fucking mad.
Yeah.
Like, that's just uncalled for.
Yeah,
but then
there's a disconnect.
I have this argument with my mom. She's like, I'm like, about having kids, and I'm like, I don't know if I'd want kids in today's society. She's like, it's not, you can't look at it like that. I'm like, she's like, it's how you raise them. I said, Mom, you can raise your kids the right way. They could be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And then what?
You can't control everything. And as a father of 2, it scares me to death what type of world we're leaving our kids.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the way shit has gone and you look at how extreme some people are, how extreme some groups are, how just far people push shit and shove shit down people's throats. Like, it scares me to death what this world is going to be for my kids as they continue
20
to get
years
older.
from now.
Right. And like, something's got to change, because if not, this country is no longer going to be. And what does that mean for our kids?
Our government's doing a good job of running that right now.
Yeah, our government's doing a really good job of running this fucking country into the ground.
Yeah, it's scary. Where's it going to be?
Yeah. Well, just look at the last 4 years, 3.5 years. The downfall that we have had as a country just in 3 years because of the leadership in the government, or the lack of leadership, I should say. I mean,
that's another topic.
Well,
but
hey,
back to
maybe that's for next week's episode.
Back to the technology ruin thing. And I feel like, it's causing kids to interact with each other less in person.
There's less face to face.
Yeah. And like, these kids don't have people skills to talk to you or look you in the face, or, it's.
And I hate to harp on this again and also bring government back into it, but they made it even worse when they sent these kids home during COVID shutdowns for no reason, mind you.
I agree.
And then forced them to cover their faces when they went back to school, so they couldn't even see the expression on the other kids' faces, or see the expression. As a child, you learn through looking at people, seeing their facial expressions, watching their mouth, watching their lips. You took that away from these kids. If you and I know you're not a parent, so you probably don't see it like I do, but you see a lot of these what we call the pandemic kids, right? And they're just completely detached,
gone. That's because they rode in a car with their parents with a mask on.
Right. Oh yeah, right. Exactly.
That's the parents' fault.
I 100% agree. 100% agree. It goes back to parents not parenting.
I mean, it's just that whole thing.
Like they're just completely shut off and detached. They can't interact. They don't know how to interact because for 2 years, they either had to sit at home behind a computer screen or sit in class with a mask or fucking face diaper over their fucking face with their teacher having one on their face too. So you can't even see their teacher be expressful and expressing certain things.
10 feet apart from each other.
Yeah, for no reason.
And the people that wore the same mask for the whole pandemic. How sanitary was that?
Right. Oh, don't even get me started on the whole fucking face diapers, man.
That's the equivalent of like your underwear holding a fart in. That's what I said.
100%.
Like, I refuse to partake in that.
It's clownery, man. It's sheer fucking clownery. Rob wore a mask into the office one day.
Well, I didn't want to get anybody sick. I was new. I was in the office. My bad.
I made him take it off.
Thank God.
It was much more.
Well, did you have like a? Did you have your favorite sports team on your mask or?
No, I just,
No, it was just like a
you
regular,
had a regular-
hospital
yeah,
mask.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And he walks in the door. I'm like, nope.
No,
Nope.
not in my
Nope. Not in my office. Not in my business.
No, I agree. I never wore my. That was
No.
a strange part of life, and
It was like fucking Twilight Zone shit, man. Like every fucking day they would come up with something new. Just
but the
pull it
best
out of
was
their ass.
one state was different than the other
Oh, right.
state.
There was no
We're not
uniformity.
one country at this point because West Virginia was wide open.
Right.
So,
Dude, I spent so much time in Florida during 2020 because I could not shut myself in here.
ugh.
Like, I was like, fuck this. Florida was wide open. Florida, like, there was pandemic, COVID. What the hell? It's the flu. Okay, fine. We deal with it. We live
And
our lives.
there was bodies piled up on the streets.
Oh,
down there
yeah,
everywhere.
totally.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
It was so bad. I can't believe that state is
The
even
people
open
that
now.
fucking believe that shit. It's just, it's mind-blowing.
And they still believe in it.
Oh, 100%. Now, I will say that I think people kind of smartened up. A lot of people smartened up to the fact that it was all a fucking sham. And it was 100% media propaganda feeding bullshit. I mean, I remember seeing them talking about fucking bodies piled up on the side of the fucking road in New York and tractor trailers. And I'm like, and then people start coming out and exposing the pictures that they're using to show this and scare people. And these pictures are from like 10 fucking years ago. And one was for like a movie set.
It was all financial.
Like,
it was all financial.
It was all about fucking money. It was all about control because it was an election year. All about control.
Trying to make
All about money.
Trying to make our boy look bad.
Yep. 100%.
Look where that got everybody.
Right.
You enjoy those $7 gallon gas prices.
Right.
Good job.
Fucking grocery bills tripled. You know, gas prices tripled.
How many wars?
Right. 3 new fucking wars. 4th one on the way.
We gave
It's-
$980 trillion
to
to
fucking
the Ukraine.
Right.
And I just saw last week that 6 government officials got caught for stealing $40 million.
Right. Well, no shit. Is anyone fucking surprised? Like, come on. It's a money laundering scheme. That's all it fucking is.
That's next week's.
That's
topic.
next week's-
That's next week's topic. That's next week's topic. That'll just run.
We're going to have to bring some other guests on here. We'll have to get a couch and a couple more microphones and bring some other guests in too.
Well, that would be like maybe 4 people that we like out of.
Out of 4.
Yeah. To see who's available.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a good thing we keep our circles small.
Dude, there's not enough time in life for all the bullshit at this point.
No, not at all. I don't have, it's not,
My-
I don't have
is like
patience for it.
life is
man.
like one long day.
Dude, it is. Look,
It's already the middle of the week, and I'm just like,
I can't believe we're already into February, right? We're at the 6th of February of 2024. Like, what the hell? I feel like 2023, like, went flying by, and now here we are in 2024, and it's already
23 flew by because it was we were back to 100% almost normal. So,
Yeah,
like there was no more
bullshit
going on. It
Can't
was,
come in my store unless you have a mask on. Fuck
yeah,
you.
like, there was none of that going on. Like we could actually function and just
Right.
get back to business. And I think everyone was just still playing catch up from the years past.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like,
Well, I know for us, 2023 was like 2022 was for us that kind of year where we kind of got back to normalcy here at the company, and for myself. But 2023, I think was where everyone else kind of caught up with that, and
right.
was kind of like back to the normal day to day. It'll be interesting to see how 24 goes because again we're in an election year. What are they going to try to pull? We'll leave that for next week.
Next week. Next week. I think today was a good conversation. I mean,
Yeah.
It's just facts. I mean,
I hope
the world is.
I hope I triggered a lot of idiots out there. There's a lot of them, and for all you good ones, thanks for listening. And
I guess next week we'll
have a whole host of new topics to talk about next week. And then we're gonna dive into politics.
That's an episode by itself.
It is an episode by itself. Women.
That's an episode. That's
gonna piss a lot of people off.
That's 2 episodes. That's 2 episodes by itself. We'll talk some business stuff we have in the pipeline, some future things.
Yeah.
See what people, try and guide the youth.
So it's funny you've said that.
Work.
Try to guide the youth. I don't think. And look, when I was young, I thought I knew it all too. I get it. Like we all did. But it's like this Gen Z generation, like they think their shit don't stink, and they don't want to hear it from anyone. Like they know better than everyone. Even more so, I think.
Here's the other thing I think that contributes to that. I feel like people are more successful now than they were when we grew up.
I agree.
And I think that these children are growing up in this environment of entitlement and country clubs and, the luxuries in life that we're grinding.
We grinded for.
We grind to get.
Yeah.
And not that that's a bad thing, but
right.
I'm just saying it's like some of those kids don't have a grasp of real life.
They haven't been smacked in the face yet.
No.
With the reality.
And they might not be ever, depending on, how lucky they are.
Right.
Financially from like their family. But I feel like there's like a big disconnect in schools now. Like you have extremely rich and then you have like real poverty.
Right.
Not that we didn't, but I don't think it was that broad of a spectrum. Like all my friends, I feel like, and everyone in the school, I don't remember going to anybody's house and it was, 10, 12,000 square foot house with.
What are you trying to say?
Listen, nothing. Okay. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, do you remember going to any of your friends' houses like that? Like everyone, those things weren't prevalent back then either.
No.
I mean, there was people with money, but it wasn't that to that level that it is now. So now you have kids that are hanging out that are friends with these kids, and they come from just a normal, mom and dad work, 2 jobs,
hard worker, blue collar,
we get by, we have a good life, but then they're friends with, Timmy down the road, and Timmy's dad's the CEO of whatever, and their house is $7 million, and they're going here and they're going there, and it's just like. Timmy's never going to understand the value of work and a dollar, and
I wouldn't say never, but
later in life, but not like
Yeah, I wouldn't say never, but it comes back to the parenting and the parents.
Just raise them right.
Raising them right, yeah, making them doesn't matter what the parents have built. That's the parents. It's funny. I don't remember which. I think it was Shaq said it. He said. Because one of his sons was talking about how rich, he is or something like that. And Shaq is like, no, you're not rich. I'm rich. You haven't built anything. You haven't made anything. Right. And that's what I think kids don't understand is that just because your parents are wealthy or your parents have built something doesn't necessarily mean you're wealthy. No,
but you can just act. You can just act right.
Right.
It's
100%.
You can't knock anybody for having money. Like be as successful as you possibly can. But you don't have to be an asshole along the way.
Right.
And your kids can just.
Well, it's like me, my kids, right? Yes. My kids, I've built something now to the point where it's extremely successful. But my kids are extremely humble, very down to earth. Like my son, every weekend in the spring and summers, he's out with his lemonade stand, selling lemonade and chips and candy. He's trying to grow it and figure out a way what he could sell better one weekend, the next weekend than he did this weekend to make more money. And like he has his own little bank account that I oversee and manage, so he understands how much what a dollar can buy and what it means to make money and deposit it. My daughter's the exact same way. You raise them right. Yeah, they're spoiled. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what you have.
They also, right.
But we were spoiled.
Right, I was.
I mean, to the point of within our parents' means. Like I had, we had everything that we wanted growing up. I just don't ever remember there being such a wide gap of.
Big disconnect between the two levels. Yeah, I get that.
That's what it's like, there are so many. I mean, just think about how many wild supercars there are running around now versus.
You never saw them in my childhood.
No. You think
Half
about
of
it.
them are mine.
Yeah.
But
I'm just, you know what I mean? But like, think about that.
right.
How many of your parents' friends had supercars growing up?
None. No, none. I knew. I knew. I take it back. I had one friend in high school. Her dad owned an Acura NSX.
Okay, I know one. Yeah, that too. But I'm not saying there was no Lambos rolling around.
No.
There was no Ferraris rolling around. There was no,
No, there wasn't.
There was none of that. You saw a Porsche every once in a while,
Right.
but not to the point where like there's 25-year-old kids fucking rolling Lambos. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
yeah, that just wasn't how
No,
we grew up. And I think that's like,
I
back to it. I think
social media has driven a lot of that, where they feel they have to go out and spend all their money on this car so they have an image that really they can't afford. I mean, that's what it comes down to. At 25 years of age, unless you can go, and they're not paying cash for these things, unless they can go out and pay cash for them twice over, they shouldn't be buying these things. It's like the thing I posted the other day, and it triggered a bunch of people, and I got a ton of messages on it, which I thought was funny as shit. The Louis Vuitton fucking comment, right? It's like, and I just reposted a post that a colleague of mine posted about, if you don't have $100,000 sitting in the bank, don't be going out and buying yourself all these Louis Vuitton or labels or whatever, making yourself look like you're balling. And besides it being tacky as shit, and I'm talking from a guy's perspective, right? Besides, a guy should never be fucking dressed up in Louis Vuitton, other than a belt. I'll give that to it.
and a pair of loafers.
Even the loafers, man. I'm not a big fan on that shit. I just think it's fucking tacky. I don't know. I think the loafers you can get away with, but like the guys carrying the fucking man purses and the fucking
You should never
bags and duffels
never
and
carry a man purse.
fucking Louis Vuitton. I'm like, you guys are fucking tacky as shit. That's like the epitome of new money tacky.
I think that everybody has something in life that makes them happy.
Looking like a clown. Maybe looking like
Well,
a
if you're
clown
out
makes
there,
them
if
happy.
you're in a Gucci bucket hat with your
Versace silk shirt on,
with your matching shirt on,
and shorts,
flexed out, taking a picture of someone taking a picture of you and claiming that you don't fly private anymore. I mean,
Oh my God.
I don't know what to tell you on that one. But yeah. I think that's a good way to end.
I think we're gonna end on
Yeah.
that. If you don't know who we're talking about,
No one
just
does.
go
I don't
and do
even know.
some
Just go on
research.
Instagram.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll stumble across them at
Yeah.
some point. All right, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. Let us know if you have any topics you want us to talk about, or if you want to be a guest on the show. We got plenty of room here for you. Till next week.